Hello everyone, and welcome back to more of looking at the Gamefest CD. Today I've got a special treat for everyone. Well, how special it is depends on your tastes, I suppose. But what I'm going to do today is I'm running DOSBox not in, I'm not in regular DOSBox. I'm actually in DOSBox Down, which I've mentioned many times before on my channel as an alternative sort of. Basically it's a fork of DOSBox, which has some other things that DOSBox doesn't have, and some games are better emulated in Down than in stock DOSBox. And one of those games is Perestroika. So I mentioned, I think in my last video, in my previous video, that Perestroika does not emulate properly in that the digitized sound does not play. The basic bips and beeps play, but the digitized sound, which is a part of Perestroika in some spots, mostly at the beginning and end, that doesn't play. So let's go ahead and try and capture this on video. There are already other YouTube videos where you can hear this stuff, but since I'm going through the CD and playing these games and making videos of them, I think it's only fair to try and capture what I can. So let's go to soft, mixed, Pere. And then there is the game, Pere 1. And ladies and gentlemen, here now finally you can hear the music in the opening screen of Perestroika. Isn't that just wonderful? Well, I guess whether it's wonderful or not depends on your tastes. But anyway, I think it's, I mean, that's pretty impressive to get sound like that from a 1990 game for DOS from the PC speaker without the use of sound cards or anything. The rest of the game is pretty much the same. The only other sound effects are very occasional when you pick up occasional point pickups like, whoops. I was trying to go for that blue one, but I went up too early. Like that little sound. That is, I think, a digitized sound effect, which also doesn't play if you're playing this on regular DOSBox. Oh, and here you'll hear the cha-cha-cha. I think the, okay, let's get out of that. Can I please exit the game? Thank you. I think the speed of that is a little bit sped up. I think it goes somewhat, it's supposed to go somewhat slower than that, but oh well. So there you go. Now you have properly heard the cha-cha-cha at the end of Perestroika and the wonderful 20 seconds of music that play at the beginning. And again, wonderful is a subjective term, but anyway. Well, moving on now to somewhat newer games. So I believe I closed out my last video with me playing the shareware version of Wolfenstein 3D because I thought it made more sense to play that before I went to Spear of Destiny, which is the sequel to Wolfenstein 3D. So let's go ahead and play Spear of Destiny. It's in soft more spear. Yes, spear. Like Alfred Spear. Or like the one thrusts his spear in, what's the lyric from, I forget exactly how it goes in German. Der eine stoßt sein Speer zum Mann, der andere zum Fische dann, or something like that. Anyway, so it's sod, not as in you're a bloody sod, but as in Spear of Destiny. Let me see what's in this sod.doc file. I'm just curious. Oh boy, it's a whole big description here. Your mission is to recapture the spear from an already unbalanced Hitler, even though we already killed Hitler in Wolfenstein 3D. Oh, I wonder if that's a spoiler. Sorry, I probably just spoiled the ending of like half of Wolfenstein 3D. Well, I guess it's not really much of a spoiler, is it? I'm sure there's some backstory explaining that this is a prequel or something like that from before B.J. Blazkowicz killed Hitler. But anyway, so yeah, pretty standard stuff. This is kind of normal stuff that you would see in a, wow, CompUSA. I remember CompUSA, Egghead Babbage's, all these companies that, all these stores that don't exist anymore. Boy. Anyway, if you can't find it, you may order it directly from Wow, Bolton, Ontario. I actually used to live near Bolton. That's quite a small town. It's a strange place to have a software distributor house because it's, I mean, it's in the kind of in the Greater Toronto area, but it's not really. It's actually quite a small town. But anyway, yeah, I used to live there. Quite a nice place if you're into living in the country. If you're into that sort of down home country living kind of place, then it's not a bad place to spend part of your childhood growing up. Anyway, let's run Spear of Destiny. And unlike in Wolfenstein 3D, you don't have to press a key to get past that screen. The game automatically advances you past that screen once sufficient time has transpired. And this game also defaults to ad-lib music, which is nice. You can hear that ad-lib music in the background. It's quite nice music, too. For some reason, the version of Wolfenstein that's on the CD, as I pointed out before, it defaults to no music and PC speaker sound, which is kind of bizarre. But anyway, let's go ahead and yes, those are the high scores. That's nice. But let's see. The sound's already all configured. View. Okay, let's make the view bigger. And I guess there's no in-game README. Unlike with Wolfenstein, where you can read this huge story in the game, here there's no README in the game. There's just the game. So start a new game. As usual, I play on the easiest setting because I am not good at these games. And here we go. This is Spear of Destiny. So it's basically exactly the same thing as Wolfenstein 3D. There's really very little that's changed. In fact, I don't think anything was changed in terms of the engine or gameplay or anything. They didn't. I don't think they added new weapons. I don't even think they added new enemies. I think the enemies are basically all the same, and even the wall textures and things. It's basically more or less a level pack. It's really a sequel in the sense of exactly the same game, just new levels. So whether that's good or bad is a matter of opinion. I mean, it's not bad. Spear of Destiny is certainly not a. It's not a. If you liked Wolfenstein 3D, then hey, Spear of Destiny is just fine as well. It's just, it's not a. Don't expect anything new. It's not any kind of an updated, expanded, improved game. It's just, it's the same game. It's Wolfenstein 3D with, again, with new levels. So, let's see. I think, oh, here we are. We already found the level exit. Oh, and actually got a time bonus. That rarely happens to me. I very rarely get time bonuses in these games because I'm always trying to get 100% and everything. I always want to get 100% kills, 100% secrets and treasure, and that usually pushes me well over what the game considers par time. And I don't really care. I'm not usually too concerned about getting par times in these games. It's not. I don't like to do things fast. I don't like to do things in a hurry most of the time, unless it's having sex. But that's kind of a special case. Oh, this music is awesome. I remember this music. Sorry, I didn't even really mean to play this game for that long because, again, it is basically just more Wolfenstein. I was actually just going to play the first level and be done with it, but then this awesome music started playing and I couldn't stop because I just had to rock out to this cool, awesome music, and for some reason both of those keys were together in the same place. Yeah, I just couldn't. I mean, what could be better than this? You've got this awesome ad-lib music playing. You've got killing Nazis in the Wolfenstein engine. I mean, these are all the fine things in life right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is really, this is what makes life worth living. Well, that and licorice and gummy bears and things like that, but I don't make videos about licorice or gummy bears, unfortunately, so on that note, let's go ahead and return to DOS and look at some further games. Yeah, for some reason, you can see considerable corruption on the screen there. That's not part of the game. I believe that's DOSBox Down doing that. I think that's the, I don't know if I should call it, not exactly the filter, but like the video, what's the right word? Not the video driver, but the overlay or whatever that DOSBox Down is using. Because those black spots, like you see on the FormGen logo, all those weird black artifacts, those are not supposed to be there. Don't know why. Don't know why it appears like that. But anyway, let's move on. And the next game is Starfire. I don't remember this game. This is another game that SoftWin. Is this a Windows game? I don't think so. Well, let's see. SoftWin Pro 7. This does not, no, not that. I doubt that this is a Windows game. Let's see, can I browse starfire.doc? Not really very much to read here. Oh, there we go. A little bit. Oh, wow. A whole 5 lines of story, which looks to be just about the most generic story you could imagine, and then just basic technical details on how to play the game and stuff like that. So not a whole lot of background information here, not a lot of story, but that's okay. I mean, it's not bad. Maybe the game makes up for that. I really don't remember this game at all. Let's see. How does this look? Okay, I guess I need to choose sound. So, well, okay, 3 for Sound Blaster. Do I want speech? Yeah, okay, sure. Oh, is this this looks familiar, but then again, it's just a Starfield scrolling towards us. I mean, that could be, there are lots of games which do something like that. High scores. Okay, can actually player 1 press fire. Okay, I guess space bar is fire. Okay. Oh, this really. Oh, the bottom of the screen is getting cut off in the recording because this uses some kind of. Wow, what the heck is going on with the controls here? Whoops. Wow, the controls. Oh, I see. It's not the kind of controls where, see, I'm not pressing any keys. Well, okay, I pressed a key there to start moving up and down, but right now I'm not pressing, well, it's hard to explain. Okay, right now I'm not pressing any key. And the ship continued to move, so it's the kind of thing where the ship keeps moving as long as you don't stop it from moving. Boy, this game is kind of weird. I very vaguely remember something like this, but I think I'm mixing this game up with Starhammer because the sprite of the ship that I'm playing as, I think, is exactly the same ship as the ship from Starhammer, which is another shareware game. I'm going to assume that's another game from the same developer as this game. This is not really resonating with me, I have to be honest, because I not really into the whole thing where, see, again, I'm not pressing any keys, but as long as you don't stop the ship from moving, it'll keep moving to the edge of the screen. I'm not really into that. I'm not really into those games where things keep moving even when you're not pressing a key. Not really my kind of bag. And those sound effects are bizarre. They're basically ad-lib musical sounds misused as sound effects in a game because I guess they didn't make digitized sound effects for the game. Or am I wrong about that? I don't know. Not really. Yeah, I guess I can see why this game doesn't stick out in my memory. It's not particularly. I mean, it seems all right. I guess there are some things to like about it, but just doesn't seem very. Somewhat very memorable. I do like the I kind of like how it sounds, even though, I mean, I do and I don't. The way that they use ad-lib sounds to make the sound effects sound strange, but at the same time it is kind of unique. So I guess it's nice that it's something that this game does that other games, that most games don't do. But it sounds unique, but not necessarily in a good way. The gameplay is certainly very generic, other than, again, that the ship keeps moving even when you stop holding down the movement keys, which could be considered an innovation, but which I probably would consider quite annoying, or I do consider quite annoying. Anyway, well, there you go, Starfire. I really don't remember this game. I might have seen it once and then never played it again, so that's probably why I don't remember it. Okay. Anyway, can I quit the game? Hello? Uh-oh. How do I get out of... I hate it when games do this, when they don't tell you how to quit. How do I quit Starfire? I don't know how to quit Starfire. Am I gonna have to... Okay, hold on. Let me see what I can do here. Let's see, can I guess what I'll do is, because I've only been making this video for about 16 minutes, I don't want to stop the video here. It's not time for that yet. I'll go ahead and just kill DOSBox and try to run it again. Will that work? There we go. Oh, it actually did come up properly. That's nice. All right, let's see. I guess I need to remount my the folder that I have Gamefest in. I think it's D Gamefest root, if I remember right. Yes, there we go. All right, let's get back into the swing of things. All right, so so that was Starfire. Interesting game, which I probably don't have great plans to play again in the near future. Moving right along, next game is Stellar Defense. It's in Sophomore 9 Pro 13. Okay. Is there a doc? Hold on, let's see what's in the file. Does anybody know? You know, I actually don't know what's the origin of this file _id.diz. Why diz or z? I know this was the file name that most BBS software looks for when you upload a file. It looks for this file name inside the zip, and if it finds it, then it uses that as the file description by default. But I don't know what DIZ stands for, or Z, DIZ. Another space arcade game with 256 VGA graphics. You're a Ligarian starfighter. Okay, that's, again, fairly generic description, which doesn't really tell us very much about the game. I think the only way we'll find out much about the game is when we start playing it. But first, let's quickly look at this. Okay, 286 or better. Boy, I miss the days when games would run on a 286. I wonder if Windows 10 runs on a 286. It's kind of a... Actually, I don't really wonder if it does. I understand that it doesn't. It's sort of a... kind of a rhetorical... kind of a rhetorical question, except without the question, because I didn't actually ask a question. So please don't send me 500 messages saying helpfully, no, actually it doesn't run on a 286, because I can probably guess that without trying it. Anyway, sound on. Okay, I guess sound on is fine, but can I change that PC speaker? Oh boy. Really? A digital audio converter on the parallel port? I don't think I've ever seen a game. I mean, there were some strange sound devices like the Kovacs speech thing and stuff like that, but I don't think I've ever seen in my life a game that uses a digital to audio converter on LPT1, the first parallel port. If this is a game that actually does that, then hats off to this game for doing something completely technically different that no game that I've ever seen in my life does. Oh, you can even switch between the three different parallel ports. Oh, and you can have stereo with parallel ports 1 and 2. Wow. That is wild. And then finally you get Sound Blaster. And then what's stereo on 1? I don't know what that is either. And then, of course, the Disney sound source. And then back to PC speaker. Wow. I have to confess, I'm impressed by that. I don't know what the game itself is like, but I'm impressed by the option of having a DA converter directly on the parallel port. That is some pretty impressive stuff. If nothing else, the game gets a point for that. Delay 0, delay 10. Oh, what's this delay thing, I wonder? Seems like I haven't played this game either. Can I decrease the delay, or does it just increase? Oh, helpfully it says at the bottom, Alt-3 to decrease delay. I was just about to say, is there some hint about how you can decrease delay? But the text at the bottom answered my question. That's good design, having that text down there so that people don't get left wondering, wait, what's the key to decrease delay now? And I can't seem to make it negative. I'm pressing Alt-3 and it doesn't go negative. So anyway, I should probably do the intro story. Whoa! Whoa! Oh my goodness, what is happening? Oh no! Oh no! Oh. It stopped, and now it's just... Wow. Wow, I don't know what just happened. I should probably put a warning. Note to self, put an annotation in the video before that happens, warning people to turn their sound down, because that just... I'm gonna need to change my underwear after this video now. I didn't even read anything of that story. If that was supposed to be the story, then okay. Everything that is said about the game getting an extra point for having a DA converter on the parallel port, or allowing you to use a DA converter on the parallel port. Okay, fine. That's great. The game just got minus 500 points for that. Minus 500,000 million trillion infinity points. Now I'm scared to show the catalog, but let's see what show catalog does. Okay, this doesn't look too bad. Karate Quest, one of the most sophisticated graphic standalone and online interactive game yet conceived. I think that should be games, but okay. Can I move on? Oh, this is still about Karate Quest. Oh, I see. Okay, that's nice. Can I maybe see something else? Or is this the only game in the... Looks like that might be the only other game in their catalog. I've never seen this game. I mean, that screenshot, if that is a screenshot, that looks nice, but I get the impression that this was a game that was never finished because, yeah, it says coming soon to a BBS near you. I have a hunch that this game was never finished because I've never seen it before in my life. But then again, I've never seen this game either, Stellar Defense, so maybe I just... well, I mean, obviously it's not like I've played every single game in the world, so maybe I just missed it. I don't know. Let's press escape to begin. Whoa! Oh my goodness! Whoa. Why is it playing that tone through the PC speaker for like 15 seconds? Oh my goodness, this is... and it's doing it again. Wow. Press a key to flip page. Oh, I see. You can press keys to advance through the... wow. Okay. Press 1 to fire weapons. I guess that means press one of these keys. You can press any of those keys to fire weapons and any of those other keys to fire bombs or something. Wow. Boy, I really had high hopes for this game when I first started off and started looking at the sound options, but this is definitely went from promising to very bad in a very short period of time. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, it's an Asteroids clone. Really? So... wow. What the heck was that? Okay. Wow. I'm not surprised that I don't remember this. Well, actually, I am surprised I don't remember this game. I think I must have never played this game, because if I had ever played this, I would certainly remember something like this. I'm pretty sure... You know what I think happened? I think I vaguely remember seeing that intro screen with the talking woman and the horrible sounds playing, and then I just quit the game after that and never played the actual game. So that's probably why I never saw this. Okay, let's get out of here and just... Wait, how do I quit? Thank you. Okay, at least pressing Q quit. At least that was something worth... At least the game offered the option of quitting. It would have been nice if it had told me how to quit, but... Boy, that was a traumatic experience. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That was not expected. That was a game that I don't have fond memories of. And if I had remembered that game, I would have warned you folks before playing it. So I'm sorry. Wow, that was really wow. Wow. It's situations like this where I sometimes use the joke, you know, I used to be against the death penalty. It's just a joke. I mean, I'm not seriously suggesting any of that sort, but come on, guys. I mean, that seemed like a game which actually had a lot of work put into it. If you put that much work into a game, could you maybe polish off a few minor things, like making sure that the game doesn't play this horrible shrill tone through the PC speaker for 15 seconds every time you change screens? I mean, with a little bit of extra polish, that could have been a decent game. I mean, the game itself didn't seem too bad, but wow. All right. SuperFly. This is a strange game as well. I do remember this one, Soft Mixed Fly. I don't like it very much. And I'll explain why as I play. Is there a... Looks like there is a DOC file, so let's take a look at fly.doc. Nels Anderson has made a lot of shareware DOS games over the years. I don't actually remember... Off the top of my head, unfortunately, I can't seem to think of another game that he's made because I tend to mix up different games and different developers after a while. But I'm very sure that I've seen his name on some other DOS games, some other DOS shareware games. So I'm pretty sure he's made better games than this one. In my opinion, this is not one of his better games. It's not a terrible game. I mean, it's basically... let's see. I mean, you can see there's a lot of effort that's gone into writing the documentation and things like that. I mean, it's nice that that Mr. Anderson has gone to the trouble of nicely documenting the games and all the files that come with it. How many games today, seriously, how many games would you buy today that actually list all the files that should come with the game and what the function of those files are? What the function of those files is? I mean, this is just the stuff of the past, but I think it's great. Next to Dick Olson. Isn't Dick Olson the guy who was behind Bass Tour and Bass Class and those other fishing games for DOS? I seem to recall that that's the case. Those are actually good games. I was actually thinking of making a video of those. Those games do appear on Gamefest 2, not on this CD, but if I ever get as far as... oh, here we go. Here are other games by Nels Anderson. Mahjong, which is basically, you know, your typical sort of solitaire tile matching Mahjong game. Ooh, EGA Trek. That's actually a pretty nice game. It's basically based on the old classic Star Trek computer games. That is here on the Gamefest CD. I think if I keep going, we might run into EGA Trek soon. Not in this video, but soon. Shooting Gallery, I think, is also on this CD. It's basically, yeah, just a mouse shooting game. Cypher, doesn't ring a bell. Mouse Tool, okay. Collection of utilities for Turbo Pascal programmers. That's nice. Utilities for Turbo Pascal programmers to add music and sound effects to their programs. Okay, used extensively within SuperFly. Oh, here we go. Yes, Bass Tour, written by Dick Olson. Yes, that is a nice game. Actually, I actually do like that game quite a bit. And then Bass Map, which is a companion mapping program for Bass Tour. Call Door, okay, like something to do with BBS doors. Don't know what that is. Also, also something to do with BBSs. All this stuff actually has something to do with BBSs. So, nice. Back in 1990, BBSs were alive and well. All right, well, the documentation was a lot more interesting than the game itself. Let's go ahead and run Fly. Okay, select controller, mouse, joystick, or keyboard. I'll select keyboard. Ooh. SuperFly version 1.1. This is shareware, blah, blah, usual shareware notice. Arg! Flies! Alright, is this the game? I think the game begins when I press an arrow key. Yes, there we go. Alright, so this is SuperFly. So basically, as soon as you touch as soon as you try to move on to a fly with the fly swatter, the fly dies immediately. So I'm moving the fly swatter around with the arrow keys. The flies are very, very easy to kill. You just move on to them with the arrow keys. And again, as soon as you try to move on top of them, they die. But the problem is you might get boxed in. You can very easily get boxed in by the flies. If you kill the green fly, that advances you to the next level, as just happened. So killing the green fly is basically your goal. That advances you to the next level. The other flies are just for points, I guess. What is the spider? I don't remember what the spider does. I don't remember this game very well. I played it a couple of times and just wasn't really into it. I guess I could, hold on, let me slow it down a bit. I think it might be more, yeah, definitely it's the kind of game that you want to slow down a touch in DOSBox, because otherwise it's, oh, you can kill the spiders as well. So basically, yeah, I mean, this is it. It's kind of like one of, oh, there we go, there's the green fly. It's kind of like one of those games where, you know, you're trying to avoid things that can only move one square. You can only move one square at a time, and there are other things that can also only move one square at a time. It's kind of like that, except different. Chimney. Well, those transitions become exponentially more annoying when you slow down DOSBox. But I mean, this is really all there is to it. I mean, I guess it's fun for a few minutes. I mean, I have played this game a couple of times, and it's not terrible. It's at least decently made, but as a game, it's just not much fun. I mean, like I was saying, as a computer program, as a software program, it's quite nice because you know, the documentation is well written. It's user friendly. You can tell it's made by somebody who, you know, considers user friendliness and the programming, the game as a computer program, because the documentation was pretty nice. The game seems well designed in terms of its interface. It's just not much fun as a game. So let's see, can I get stuck here? I'd like to show what happens when I get stuck, if I can. It's actually proving to be harder than I thought to get myself stuck. Can I seriously not get stuck, guys? Come on. There we go. That's what happens when you get stuck. And you lose this water, which is equivalent to losing a life. All right, well, that's, I think that's enough of that. I think you folks have an idea of what this game is about. I'll press escape to quit. Nice that it actually shows at the bottom, escape equals quit. That's something that a lot of these games are lacking, a clear indication of how you quit the game. And indeed, some of these games are lacking apparently the option to quit the game at all. There is literally no way to quit the game except for closing DOSBox. And of course, back in the day, if you were really running this on an actual DOS computer, there was no way to quit except to restart the computer, to reboot the computer, because there was no DOSBox that you could close back in the day. You couldn't just close the emulator that you were using. So, nice job of making a game that works well as a program, just not as a game. So anyway, from SuperFly we go on to VGA Leaper. This is a Frogger clone. So Sophomore 9 Pro 16. There is a leaper.doc file, but the browse command is not in this directory. It looks like it would be too, yeah, that's too big to, let's see. What's folder? I'm just trying to see if I can find the browse program. There we go. Yes, that folder did have browse in it. So here we go. We can scroll through the game's documentation, and I'm not going to bother reading this as usual. Send your share registration to that address, and here's some other stuff about some other games, and yet more games, and here's the order form. All right, well, that's nice. Yeah, so there was I believe this is called VGA Leaper because there was a version of Leaper that was CGA with, 4-color CGA graphics, but this is VGA, so the graphics are much nicer. I think that Leaper.sco is actually the high score file. There we go, Leaper VGA version 1, copyright 1992, etc. And there we go. That's a nice title screen, isn't it? I mean, it's very simple. It does look a little bit amateurish, but somehow I just like the looks of it. It really gets the message across that you are a frog blinking at the camera. Or I guess there's not really a camera per se, but the viewer or whatever. Anyway, let's press H for help. Okay, this is pretty good help. Now let's press enter to start. And here you go. It's, like I said, it's Frogger. Nothing more, nothing less. Good game. I actually think this is a reasonably competently made clone of Frogger. I mean, it's nothing special. It's Frogger. It's not like, whoops. How did I die? Did I actually touch that car? I'm not sure if the game's collision detection is dodgy or if I was just not paying enough attention. I might have run into something and just been dumb and hit a car, but anyway. It's Frogger. I don't know what that did. I picked up some brown frog that was sitting on that log, so there you go. It's Frogger. It's a good game. Frogger is a good game. It's fun. It's definitely a classic. It's basically Perestroika, except without the Perestroika part. It's basically kind of a top-down Perestroika instead of a sort of pseudo-isometric view that Perestroika is not really isometric. It's more, I don't know. I consider this game to be a bit more fun than Perestroika, but then I didn't grow up in the Soviet Union, so maybe I just don't have the necessary Soviet perspective that's needed to appreciate games like Perestroika. Oh, and it plays Yankee Doodle, which is something that Perestroika definitely wouldn't do because that's, I don't think it's a very Soviet folk song. Anyway, VGA Leaper, good game. I mean, it's obviously not the most original idea because it is a ripoff of Frogger, but still, like I said, it's a reasonably competently made clone. It's fun. It's enjoyable. I like it. It's basically not much more than what you'd expect in a Frogger clone. So I don't know what that sound was. Oh, maybe that's the game warning me that my time is almost up. Anyway. Oh, I pressed escape and that caused my frog to die. And we hear there the very, very widely used Chopin's Funeral March, very often used in games to mark death. It is Chopin's Funeral March, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, I got a new high score. Can I view the high scores? Oh, S displays high scores. Oh, I got the high score because they're, well, I scored more than A and 1. It's nice that I scored more than A, I guess. All right, well, that was VJ Leaper, so I guess that's enough for now. I'm just looking back or thinking back on this video and our successes and failures, and I think it went pretty well. I think for the most part, most of these games are pretty good, and at least the ones that aren't good are in some way interesting, like SuperFly. At least it's an interesting original concept for a game, if it's not an especially good game. And then there was that one low point, which I'm not even going to dignify by talking about it anymore, except for the cool sound options. The sound options were the best. The sound options were great. Everything else, not so much. So, I guess that's that. Thank you for watching, everyone, and hopefully next time we'll continue with more shareware gems and not so gems from the Gamefest CD. Until then, I wish everyone well. Hope that you are all right and enjoying what you're seeing as I bumble around and do silly things while playing silly games. And yeah, thanks for coming along, everyone, and we'll see each other soon. Bye-bye for now.